lights are indeed on. They go out, the race gets underway, and again it's a poor start from Billy Boggis, and he's swallowed up by the two drivers on the second row of the grid. It's a good start from Graham Mailings from the outside of row 2. He's got up into second place. Carl Johnston stays in third, Neil Stratton fourth, and Billy Boggis is about 8th or something. You've got the three Class B contenders, the Mark II contenders, almost side by side there. It's Tim Heron that's again got into the lead. This time he does get his way around Druid's corner without outbreaking himself into the gravel. So Tim Heron leading in Class B at the moment from Dan Sylvester, but Sylvester's gone around the outside of him there at Graham Hill Bend to take the Class B lead away. So it is Sean Traynor leading, Graham Mailings in second place, and they have a bit of a gap now back to Carl Johnston in third place, Neil Stratton fourth, and it's 5 roadsters in the first 5 places by the looks of it as well, because Adam Lockwood is there in 5th position at the moment. So they're coming through towards the end of the first lap then. And it is number 27, Sean Traynor, in the lead by 62 hundredths of a second at the end of the first lap. About 7 tenths behind him, behind Graham Mailings, is Carl Johnston. Then another 3 tenths behind him is Neil Stratton in 4th place. They climb up the hill towards Druids, and Neil Stratton having a look up the inside of Carl Johnston there as they headed into the hairpin, but he couldn't find a way through. And so it is still Johnston in the Rogue Motorsport car in 3rd place at the moment. So they now drop down through Graham Hill Bend onto the Cooper Straight once more. There you can see Dan Sylvester and now Billy Boggis up into 2nd place within Class B. He's got himself ahead of Tim Heron, who led very briefly in Class B at the start of the race. Traynor there on screen is our overall leader. And in the early stages of the first race, he didn't make a break. It took a little bit longer for him to pull out the advantage, but eventually he did it. Right, we're on board with Carl Johnston now in 3rd place. So up the road ahead of us, you can see Graham Mailings and Sean Traynor. That's Johnston. He's got Stratton right behind him. There's more going on behind him than in front, I think. Behind Stratton, you've got Adam Lockwood. Behind Lockwood, you've got Dan Sylvester. Behind Sylvester, you've got Billy Boggis as the field navigates its way around the 3rd lap of the race, and Johnston has now got Stratton overlapping him as they head down to Graham Hill Bend. They make their way along the Cooper Straight. Top 2 here getting away, Traynor and Mailings, and then it's Johnston who possibly is delaying himself and Neil Stratton a little bit, battling as they are over 3rd position with another 3 cars right behind them as well. Johnston quite wide there through Clearways and Clark Curve. I thought that might allow Stratton to pounce, but it didn't. If anything, he's pulled out another car length at the end of lap 3 of this race, which is still being led by Sean Traynor from Graham Mailings. 27 from 71 and 69. Carl Johnston is 3rd, Marcus.
Yeah, it's kind of much as before up front, isn't it? But there's anyone could get 3rd out of this. Anyone of about 6 people. It's running so close. The 2 Mark IIs there. Number 21, which is Dan Sylvester in the road car. Another road car at the front of this group, and that is the championship leader, Carl Johnston. But Lockwood goes through with Sylvester on his tail. Bill Boggis, the Suffolk Smoke, as it says on the back of the car, who managed to snatch victory in his class in the earlier race, isn't going to let go this time either.
There is Boggis, and he is locked in combat with Dan Sylvester, and it's Sylvester that we go on board with now. He's in 6th place. The car ahead of us, you can see, is Adam Lockwood as they go across the line and towards Paddock Hill Bend once more, turning their way, dropping precipitously down to the foot of Paddock Hill. Now up towards Druids they go. There's Sylvester. See a bit of evidence of rubbing in either earlier this race or the race that we had before the lunch break. Johnston there still in 3rd place, having a stronger race this time after that 7th place finish in the earlier race. Back on board with Sylvester again along the Cooper Straight.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Lovely to see the cars leaning into the apex of Surtees, then back across into the right-hander. So Clark Curve Clearways. Field pretty strung out behind the group watching before, but there is Johnston going through. Still with the novice cross on the back corner of the car. But Sean Traynor hasn't managed to shake Graham Mailings off up front, that's for sure.
Only about 3/4 of a second between the two leaders. Tim Heron is in battle with Jim Mew now. Jim Mew in the Roadster. Heron in the Mark II. On board again with Sylvester, a bit close to Lockwood this time. Heading along Cooper Straight. And of course Sylvester can't afford to make too many mistakes here, because he has got his class rival Boggis right behind him.
It's that dilemma, isn't it? Do you go after the 3 roasters ahead, or do you and potentially compromise your battle for the class points, or do you just get your head down and it's a race, you're going to enjoy it, whatever.
9 minutes left of it, and Sean Traynor still leading at the end of 6 laps.
In many ways, it's easier just to keep your head down and chase, rather than worry too much, overthink what's happening behind you.
Yeah, I would think so. There's Stratton, number 84, in 4th place, looking to get another podium. Lockwood there, a bit wide, coming out of Druids that time. Down towards Graham Hill Bend they go.
I think that's in Boggis's favour with this. If Sylvester gets wrapped up with the 3 racers and something should happen, he's got that little bit extra time to read the situation and place his car somewhere advantageous.
Looking at the lap times, we've got down to 57.01 in the first race. Best lap of the race so far is a 57.25 for Graham Mailings in 2nd place. The top 10 all inside the 57s. Sean Trainor's just done a new PB, new fastest lap of the race, 57.19. In fact, the first 5 drivers all did personal best laps on that lap, of which Traynor was the quickest and pulled out another 400ths over the leader. But there's the Traynor under pressure from Mailings as they were going past Martin Collins in the Mark 1 there. Traynor just about managing to hold on. It was, and spinning goes the Martin Collins car in front of that pack. Now, has that changed the complexion of the Mark II battle? No, it has, in that Stratton has lost out. He's now behind Billy Boggis, but Sylvester and Boggis remain in the same order. It was Carl Johnston that was the one that was in real danger of being collected there as well by the spinning Martin Collins car, but he's still there as well, and if anything, is now closer. In fact, he is right with the leaders, Marcus, as they come up the line to complete lap 8.
Yeah, so it's 3 for the lead then at this point. And there they go, but at white, red and black. The cars are Sean Traynor, 27, 71 Graham Mailings, the red one, and 69 Carl Johnston, the Northern Irishman, in the black road car in 3rd place. Lockwood is 4th in 11, but there is Traynor withstanding. He's used to withstanding pressure. He's been in this game for many, many years. And here we go. We're riding with Carl Johnston again.
We are in 3rd place, and he's lost a bit of ground again to the top 2, it seems to me.
Yeah.
But it's a different race, a different type of race this to the first one. Helped by the traffic that delayed Sean Traynor there, backed him up into Graham Mailings and allowed Johnson to catch a second as well.
Quite good on the transition between Surtees and Clearways. And here comes Boggis having a look up the inside of Sylvester. They're absolutely neck and neck. So, and Boggis has got a front splitter ahead of Sylvester. Sylvester brakes as late as he dares. There was so close to rubbing wheel arches there, but all the while with Neil Stratton sitting behind them.
Well, Stratton behind them, but Boggis now has got into the lead of Class B and 5th place overall as well. If he could get the car off the line, he would be dominating, I'm sure, the Mark II division, but in both races he's made a pretty horrible start. Here we can see his blue car just ahead of our onboard car, which is Daniel Sylvester, number 21, now down in 6th position. There's Tim Heron, 3rd in Class B. He's just ahead of Peter Higton. In 8th place Heron, 9th place Higton. Darren Aldworth is rounding out the top 10 at the moment in this PD Extinguishers MR2 Championship race, which still has 5 minutes to run.
Yeah, equidistant 1, 2 and 3 that time, at the end of 10 laps.
And they're just about to come up to lap Martin Collins in the Mark 1 again, at the same part of the circuit as they did previously. It's not proving that easy to get around him by the looks of it, as they make their way around Druids, but not causing quite the consternation, I don't think, as he did a lap ago. Meanwhile, Sylvester's back ahead now of Billy Boggis as they drop down to Graham Hill Bend. Boggis is going to try and come back at him on the inside line. Can't quite make that work, though. So Sylvester holds on to the Class B lead once again. Neil Stratton, of course, in the Roadster, involved in all of this as well. He's in 7th place, having lost out when there was that spinning car 2 or 3 laps ago.
That was a difficult place to spin, wasn't it, and be avoided?
Yeah, it was. So they're lapping Collins again now in the Mark 1.
Here comes Boggis up the outside towards Paddock. Surely he can't break any later than he's doing at the moment. Tucks it back in. There's a car ahead of them, which of course is the one they're battling. That's 11, which is Adam Lockwood. Hint of a lock up there from Dan Sylvester, front left wheel. But Boggis tucked into his wheel tracks.
Just looking over my shoulder at the leader, and it's still Sean Trainer, only 4/10 or so clear of Graham Mailings, who's giving him a hard time. We're on board with Sylvester there. He was looking at the back of Adam Lockwood's
That's
goals.
really close up front now.
Carl Johnston made a mistake there coming through clearways, and he's lost a half dozen car lengths because of that. Thought he was going to exit stage left into the gravel trap, but he's still there. But yeah, much closer for the leaders. Well, 4/10 between them.
Yep.
800ths gained by Mailings on that lap.
But he was closer at clearways than he was over the timing line.
He was, yeah. Johnson's now 1.1 seconds behind Mailings. Here's the fight for Class B. And Stratton trying to find a way through on the inside as well. But just staying out of things for the moment. Here are the leaders, and they are, again, much closer at this part of the circuit on the Cooper Straight towards Surtees.
There's a sort of nibble out of the front of the trainer car, isn't there? Down by the radiator intake, and here comes the red car of Mailings, the G&T car. Turns in well. It's all about building momentum, ducking down into that little compression, and then tucking into the slipstream if you can find one. But a slightly better lap there towards the end of it by Trainer, but the gap's still 0.39, exactly as it was, 57.38. Again, Mailings quicker at some parts of the circuit, but the overall effect negates any gain.
Boggis having a look at the inside of Sylvester into Druids once again. Not able to make anything of it though. So this you can see is the fight for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. Lockwood back to Stratton. The two Mark IIs sandwiched between the Roadsters. 57.05
is that best lap of the race, going back a long way. 400 slower than the earlier race.
Yeah, that's with Sean Trainer. Stratton did a 57.07 as well, I notice. Through Clark, curve onto the Grafton Straight once again. Lockwood's got a bit more of a gap between himself and Sylvester now. It's going to be 2 laps to go, including the one that they've just started, I think. Stratton up the inside, possibly of Boggis there.
Not enough, not close enough.
Just having a look at the leaders as well. Yeah, they're pretty much together as well at Druids, I can see. Stratton's just done the best lap of the race, 57.01, so that's matched the lap time from earlier on for Sean Trainer. And he's still there in 7th place, somehow, despite the pace that he's showing. Wide there was Dan Sylvester over the green stuff at the exit of Graham Hill Bend. That will be attracting the attention of the officials, I'm sure. Not seen any track limits warning flags, I don't think, during the course of this race. That might change, but we're going to get the last lap board this time for Sean Trainer. There's a track limits warning flag going out to somebody now, I can see. It's not being shown on the electronic display, but it's being shown from the finish line. So last lap then, 34 hundredths between Trainer and Mailings. It's pretty tight. Dropping down to the foot of Paddock Hill Bend. Up they go towards Druids once again. Is there any more traffic to deal with before the end? No, there's not.
Carl Johnston's had a pretty good view of all this, hasn't he, throughout?
has had a much stronger second race, helped by the better qualifying position, of course, than he managed for race 1. He sort of held station in third.
You can see trainer there looking in his mirrors, looking in to see where Mailings was. Here's for riding with Carl Johnson. And the leaders go into the last time into clearaways. And Sean Trainer, surely if he can bring the car across to the inside, he's going to have the momentum to get there again, but not by very much. And he crosses the line, and the gap is 0.27 of a second. Car 27, 0.27.
Very nice and symmetrical. So Sean Trainer takes the win then in the PD Extinguishers MR2 Championship from Graham Mailings, Carl Johnston, Adam Lockwood. Daniel Sylvester winning Class B, this time by the princely margin of 0.16 seconds over Billy Boggis. Neil Stratton was 7th, Tim Herron 8th and 3rd in Class B ahead of Peter Higton and Andrew Ruthven as the rest of the field make their way through towards the end of the race. A more entertaining race, that one, than the first, although there wasn't a huge amount of overtaking, but Sean Trainer really had to soak up a lot more pressure that time, Marcus.
Yes, he did, and he's a bit of an old master at this, isn't he? And that's another very good display of MR2 work. Down the order, I see that the two very difficult to pronounce, Sergei Bielyayev and Vladislav Sinani were together most of the time until Andy Williams got between them on the last lap.
Absolutely right. So that was the MR2 Championship. It's back in action in 3 weeks' time at Mallory Park. So 2 short, sharp circuits, one after another. And that'll be for rounds 5 and 6. Daniel Sylvester has got a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits, so that's going to drop him back. Let's have a look at the results, though. This will be before the penalties apply. So Sean Trainer, number 27, takes the win. After 16, that's by 0.27 seconds from Graham Mailings in second. Carl Johnson, number 69, was third. Adam Lockwood, number 11, was fourth. Billy Boggis has also got a 5-second penalty. So that drop. No, they stay first and second within the class, don't they?
Yeah.
So they'll drop behind Neil Stratton. So number 84, Neil Stratton, will be fifth. Then 6th will be number 21, Daniel Sylvester. 7th will be number 99, Billy Boggis, both with 5-second penalties for exceeding track limits. Then 8th, number 9, Tim Herron, who didn't get a penalty but wasn't within 5 seconds of them. 9th to number 4, Peter Higton. 10th, 82, Andrew Ruthven. Then Darren Aldworth, Fear Aldridge, Jim Mew and Maxine Nichols rounded out the top 14, ahead of Christopher Allison, Sergei Bielyayev, Andy Williams, Vladislav Sinani, Andrew Strange, Patrick Stoner and Nick Lear, and a lap down or more, Simon Quinn and Martin Collins. So that is the way of it for the MR2 Championship. Let's head down to the pit lane. Josh Barrett.
So we're down here after that MR2 Championship race, and Sean Trainer, the race winner. Sean, that was a little bit different to the earlier one.
It was, yeah. I double-filled the car, but I didn't realise Lee had put the fuel in as well. So, but that's, I mean, it's only probably about 8 or 10 kilos, but I don't know if it made a difference or not. Or the tyres are also, we sort of looked for a better set of tyres and we didn't have any, so it was managing it. But I think Graham was definitely travelling a bit quicker in that one, where he didn't have someone right on him. I knew that's what was keeping him busy last time, so I'm just glad that I managed to hold it. A few little mistakes and he came back, and the back markers didn't do us a lot of favours in a few places, but yeah, I'm happy. Finishing happy today. It sort of doesn't quite make up for Silverstone, but we're going back on the right track.
You prefer a race like that rather than the one from earlier?
Yeah, most of the time. It does make it more interesting. Sometimes when you're sort of trying to grab some points back, it's quite nice to be drive, but it's always good to have a battle.
Well done, Sean.
Right,
in second place was Graham, and that was a good shot at a win there, Graham, but couldn't quite get ahead of him.
Yeah, we was looking for that inevitable win. I did ask Sean to miss a gear, but he didn't do the decent thing. So yeah, really pleased. And I managed to keep up with him. My tyres held together that race. I think I said in the last race, tyres just went. Just softened up a bit, and it seemed to make all the difference. So yeah, really pleased.
Yeah, 2 second places.
Yeah, over the moon. Really good.
Well done.
Good, thank you.
Let's have a word with Cole. Cole, third place there for you. Better than the first race.
Better than the first race, yeah. That wasn't really good. I just first time at Brands really, so I was just learning my way around really. I think the testing of it was in the qualifying. So I figured out the corners and I was like, oh, this will be all right, you know, and then second race was good. But here, I might as well be doing the Drift Championship. Back tyres were just absolutely roasted. No sliding everywhere. I was watching the first and second place go away and I was like, oh, bye boys. I'll just keep on drifting here, you know.
Obviously, you had a great weekend at Silverstone. First time in the championship this year. What's your previous experience?
I've just did a bit of rallying really, and that's about it. You know, rallying and what have you, and that's I think that's where the sliding comes from. But track racing, I said I'll give it a stab and see what it's like, and it's going well.
How would you find adjusting to actually racing against people rather than being out by yourself?
It's a bit weird when you're looking around and you're going, oh my god, oh hi, how are we doing? All right, yeah, you don't see that very much in rallying, but yeah, it's very intense. Where in rallying you're in sort of your own mind space, but yeah, to be fair, it was a ball of fun, really.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, and good luck for the rest of the year.
And I'd like to wish my dad, Alan Johnson, happy birthday, 65.
Well done.
All right.
Congratulations then to our top three. The next cars are coming out on circuit for our endurance race, which is for the Gadshocks 116 trophy.